Hi, happy Friday and welcome to AFO Radio. I was going to say AFOradio.com, but technically, this is not the website. This is Facebook. But hey, we're AFO Radio nevertheless. I'm Mag, and it's, of course, my co host, Darren Tate from An Honest Mistake, and this is Pop Up Stage. Now, every Friday, we come on to bring you news about local music, or rather, we preview local tracks and let you go experience it for yourself. Okay, go find out about the track, find out more about the artists that we feature on the show as well. But most importantly, we want you to get to know more of our local talents here in Malaysia.
Exactly. So right here on Pop-Up Stage, this is what we do. So we feature all kinds of music. It's not just, pop or rock. It ranges from various genres and not just Malaysian, but we also feature regional artists as well. Okay, so this show is really not limited to just Malaysia. And it's really about getting your music out there and making sure that people hear your music. So that's why it's also very important that if you guys are watching right now, for you guys to share this video on your Facebook page. Okay, we just want everybody to hear about this pretty much. All right, so anyway, we are coming to our bulletin board, and this week we actually have a bunch of new tracks. And I've added some some tracks that weren't on New Music Friday, but were tracks that were recently released. So I'm gonna share with you guys some of them right here on Pop-Up Stage. So let's check the first one out. This is by Netuno Blue, and it's an electronic track. It's a really cool track.
How do you spell his name? I mean, him or her?
Him, yeah.
Okay.
So it's a really cool track, and he's an electronic producer. So let's check it out right now. And I believe it's him singing as well.
To be worth it in the end. Ooh, yeah. Tonight I'll be loving you tenderly. Your form is divine, I confess. I'll show you the dreams that you missed. Baby, pull back your hair and let me sink my teeth into your skin. I promise to be gentle with your petals. Ooh, that lavender scent, damn. I wanna make you scream my name into.
Cool. I mean, it's such a cool track, lo-fi-ish, but with the bass and everything. I don't know. I mean, like, that track is out of the ordinary for me, and a lot of ear candy, a lot of sounds here and
there's
there.
So many things happening, right?
Yeah.
I was like, wait, hold on. There's one sound here, and there's something else happening over there.
Yeah.
So very interesting.
Yeah. So that's a good track, lah. I really like how it's produced. But yeah, so let's check this next one out. This is by the Sunday Cup. It's I guess it's kind of like a reincarnation of Ian Thai's band, but so he was called The Propositions, and he had his band, and then now there's this side project called the Sunday Cup. All right, so let's check it out.
So sixpence, none the richer.
Yeah, right. Alright, so there's The Propositions, which is his rock band, and then he's always gone with his own name as an artist, but I guess this is his solo.
Hands on our hearts, we read that path so long ago, and we did not stop to watch. Fumbling forward. If we let nature take its course, it'll just revolve and do its worst, you'll see. If it's too hard to move along, we're stopping here indefinitely.
Alright, it's cool. I mean, we're just previewing a tiny little bit for you guys. You know, it hasn't hit the chorus yet, but you guys need to go and check this track out. It's on a playlist that I've created called New Malaysian Releases on Spotify. Alright, so I recently was looking through that list, and there was an option to make the playlist public. Okay, so I guess it's, for some reason, you know, it couldn't be searched. Maybe, I'm not sure. But now it's a public playlist, which means anybody and everybody can see it. Now, it's not a collaborative playlist yet. I don't think I want to make that option available, because then everybody's just gonna like dump in their songs. But yeah, so that was the Sunday Cup. Now we have.
I'm very curious though I'm very curious about the name though. So yeah, let's talk to him someday and find out
let's talk to him someday
why the
soon,
Sunday
yeah.
Cup.
Yeah. Okay, you know, like I said, right here on the show, we don't just feature you know, like the more pop stuff, but we feature all kinds of music. So with this next one, which is actually quite it's quite different. Let's check this one out. This is by Arman Tanzarian. He's a post-rock, you know, instrumentalist. You know, does a lot of stuff with the looper and stuff like that. So let's check this one out. This EP called A Year Without Light was, you know, obviously released recently, and, you know, it's released during the pandemic. Okay, so let's check this one out. This is called A Year Without Light, the title track. This is probably made with the guitar, which is crazy. I mean, like I said, you guys can go and check it out yourselves. The playlist is on there. There's almost like 200 songs now. There's 150 songs. And it's
really cool though. Yeah,
to be able to see so many artists, you know, consistently putting music out. Okay, so okay, we're gonna play one last one for the bulletin board, and we have a few more later on that we will share, and some that are not featured. Although they are great songs, they will not be featured because they are a little bit explicit. Okay, so we want to keep it clean and clear right here. So let's check this next one out. It's called
sounds
Home
like
to
makeup, clean and clear.
It's called Home to You by Clinton Jerome. All right, let's check it out.
This sounds really nice though. I took a listen to this. Not bad.
Never first to say goodbye. I'm first to break my own heart and cry. Staying sane in my lane, but we go back and forth. Where's the end to this maze? Why we running from what we want? You're denying, but we know that's the truth. Because we promised in the end it should have been just me and you. And I needed you, but I wasn't enough for us to last. Let my lifeline singing. I'm wide awake, but you've got me dreaming. You bring me back home to you. Bring me back home to you.
what a cool track, you know.
Very
like
nice.
Nice R&B, you know. And you know what? He is actually from Borneo. He's from Miri, Sarawak. Okay, so that's pretty cool. And there's just something about, you know, like how the people of Borneo, you know, like create music, because like in the past there were bands, you know, from Kuching and, you know, from KK and stuff like that, and the sounds that they created, it was just very different from what we got here in KL, right? So, you know, very, very cool. And speaking of Borneo, our next guest is actually from Borneo too, okay? He's not from Sarawak, but he's from Sabah, he's from KK. And he used to be in a band, but
Interestingly,
now...
they have the same name too.
yeah, they so happen, yeah, they have the same name too. Yeah. And you know, so he used to be in a band, and now he's got this whole hip-hop R&B project going. You know, he's rebranded himself, moved back to KK from KL, and you know, it's just a whole different thing. And you know, I've heard so much about him. I've seen the videos, I've seen the live performances he's done under this brand new name, and I definitely want to talk to him. I'm super excited. And yeah, so let's bring him on right now without any more delays. Let's bring on MKNK right now.
Hello. Hey guys.
welcome to
Thanks
the
for
show.
having
How
me.
you doing?
I'm good. How about you guys?
We're
man.
good. Now, of course, we mentioned earlier that he has the same name as Clinton Jerome. So I knew him as Clinton before he became MKNK. So I need to know,
Yeah.
first and foremost, what is behind the name? What's the story behind the name?
Okay, so it's actually a pretty interesting story, I must say, because it came from a name of a song previously, and the song was called The Mechanic. And there was this one time, I think, somewhere around 2015, where I bought this 10-year-old Kia Spectra, which broke down like all the time. I think I spent more money fixing it than the amount of money I spent like buying the car. So yeah, and I spent a lot of time in workshops at the time. And there was this particular workshop I went to where this mechanic was always fixing like all these expensive cars. And then when he drives home like this really old beat up car that can like barely start. And it just hit me at that moment. Like I realized we always try to help other people fix their problems, but rarely we try to fix our own and see like what's within. So that's where it kind of transpired from. And
Wow. That's
Yeah.
so deep, way.
yeah, thoughts in a workshop when you're waiting for like 3 hours, nothing to do, right? It's like
Got no
huh,
place to sit, right? No
no
place to sit. Or even
You
if they
just stand
give
around.
you a chair that's like filled with grease.
yeah, yeah. either
And
that or
I'm
you look
sure
for a
his
mama.
battery would have died also. Then he couldn't even use his phone to
Yeah.
actually go through social media.
Yeah,
So it's like,
man.
what should I think
Right.
about today?
Just sit there in my own thoughts. Yeah.
So yeah, so that does that mean that your name and MKNK is not pronounced as MKNK but mechanic? Is
Mechanic?
that what it
Yeah.
is?
It was supposed to be pronounced as mechanic, but I think MKNK was like something that was a little bit more catchy in some ways.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
somehow people just gravitated towards that, and I just stuck along with that. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
it was-
so with that,
yeah.
go ahead.
Okay,
Any
and
thoughts?
another fun fact was I wanted to name myself mechanic, right? But mechanic itself, the English word would be too difficult because there's so many bands out there, or maybe other things
Yeah.
that is associated with that name. So I tried to go for mechanic, like the Malay spelling, Mekanik. But there was a hardcore Europe rock band that had that name, so I opted for MKNK. Yeah.
Okay, that's really
So
interesting.
that's the origins.
Yeah, so I think it's the perfect move, man, to kind of like rebrand yourself, because when you were still here in KL, you perform with a different band, and
Yeah.
it was a full band thing, and like totally different style of music, So what happened to that? Like was it kind of like a conscious thing that, okay, I'm gonna ditch the band and I'm gonna do this whole thing because that's what I really want to do, or was it a phase that you were going through, because of the people that you were surrounded with? What was that situation like?
I think there were two factors that went into it. The first one was that we went in the band actually as individual artists. So myself, Jude, and Daryl, we all kind of came together because there was this guy who we used to work for, and he kind of told us that individually you guys are good, but if you guys team up together, you guys can do something great.
Yeah.
So we formed the band together, but we always knew that at some point we are going to go solo. We just didn't know when.
Okay.
And I think after a while, everyone kind of had their own ideas of doing something that they wanted to do. Like we all knew that GTX was just something that we came
Temporary.
out together collectively, but it didn't define us individually, if that makes sense.
All right. Yeah, it does make sense though. But you guys did sound really good. You guys really sounded very good as a band, and
Thank you.
you know, you actually produced quite a lot of amazing stuff together as well. So, you know, transitioning from being a band to now as solo artists, has it been difficult? You know, adjusting to the fact that, hey, before I had my bros around me, you can do this, you can do that, but now I'm on my own.
It's there are a lot of pros and cons, I must say. The pros is that I can do whatever I want, and I didn't have to check with other people. I think Darren can understand this, because when you're in the band, it's not just about you. Everyone kind of has to be happy, so you're kind of pleasing everyone in the band. But when you're doing everything solo, you can just release whatever you want, write about whatever you want. So that was a good thing. But the other thing was, I guess it was, number one is I really missed them when I was like doing my own shows. And in fact, during my album launch, I actually invited them to perform with me, just to kind of have that like moment again.
Nice.
Yeah. And I think the tough part was starting all over again and building a new brand, because I've been in the industry for about 10 years now, right? And to start again at like the 7th year mark was just so tiring, and having to start from smaller shows again, because when you first start off, unless you're really this really established artist, you have to start back from like open mic stages and just try to do as many free shows as possible and getting to know as many people as possible, and trying to tell them, oh, I have this new thing and hopefully you will like it. You know, just that was the tough part about it. Yeah.
Right. Definitely. I mean, I definitely agree with that, you know, that it's not easy, especially, you know, when you've come to a certain place, you know, and then when you start your own thing again, it's kind of like a restart. But it's good also because then that kind of like sets you in a different place, because like right now everything is moving so quickly, and you know, things have to be done in a correct manner, you know. So when you rebrand, you can kind of like start fresh, clean slate, you know, do the things that you couldn't do before and stuff like that. So I think it's kind of like a good thing. But then in terms of like style of music, right, you know, because I mean I've put you on solo shows as well when you were still in KL, right, you know, and you didn't do any of this kind of stuff, you know. It was still kind of like, you know, piano driven singer-songwriter stuff, you know. Then there were some shows where you played with the guitar as well, right, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, there were.
But why the move from even like that kind of solo stuff to hip hop and R&B, which is what you do as MKNK now?
Yeah. Okay, that's a good question actually. I think a lot of people don't know this, but growing up, I listened to a lot of punk rock and also listened to a lot of Eminem. And so my top 3 bands were like Eminem, Blink-182, and Jay Chou.
So a bit of mix of everything.
That was the Chinese side in me, lah. Jay Chou. Yeah. And I was always really fascinated with how Jay Chou produced his music, because he never stuck with one genre. He always did like, there's always like a little bit of hip hop and a little bit of pop ballad, and he mixes it up. And they definitely played like a huge influence with me, even with like the way I write my raps or I write my lyrics. I am heavily influenced by Eminem, like how he uses his rhymes and his wordflow. So I guess it was always in me. It was just like trying to find my own sound and trying to see what really spoke to me. And yeah, I just kind of gravitated towards this.
Right. So it was kind of like a So when you were here, I mean, we're just kind of like talking a little bit about the past, but when you were here, this side of you was kind of like suppressed, lah, because there's like band and school and, and all that, right?
Yeah, definitely, man. I mean, I went to a music school as well. I went to ICOM, and in ICOM, everyone just like, if you play jazz, you're a cool cat.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, wow, you can play jazz and everything. And I kind of fell into that trap. And in fact, I think I fell into that trap so badly that I was in this hole where I couldn't really find myself. In fact, there was this one point where I couldn't listen to music at all.
wow.
It was very tough for me to try to listen to something without overanalyzing it or trying to think like, oh, how do I make my song sound like that? And it just became really unenjoyable. And I think when you come from a music school as well, it can get pretty competitive. Like when you see someone doing this kind of songs or getting this kind of grades, you're like thinking to yourself, oh, I have to like try to at least keep up, right? If not, what am I doing? So there's this toxic like mentality where I'm starting to figure out where every time you see an artist or a musician, for example, like Jacob Collier, he's so amazing with playing all his instruments, you just say, I quit lah. How can I can't even play like that, right? Why am I even doing music? And I had that mentality for the longest time. That's why I'm trying to break away from that.
So how did you come out of that situation though? When you found yourself drowning in toxicity and, telling yourself that, hey, what do I do next? How did you bring yourself out? Because I think a lot of students would go through that same, phase as well, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I think one of it is a lot of self-reflection. And another thing was that I had a lot of great friends, like my bandmate Daryl. He was one person that he never gave in to me because I could be a very stubborn guy as a bandmate. And he kind of like changed a lot of the mentality that I have. And during some nights when we have some drinks, out of nowhere, he just tell me, Clinton, you have to stop acting like that. And you have to be more aware of like the way you see things. And even I think with my mentality being stuck in this, he kind of brought me out of it. And just by seeing his passion for the music, like every time, to give you an example, like every time I played on the piano last time, if I were to play like Fix You, I would add like maybe major 7 chords and everything. And he's like, bro, just stop. No major 7s for Coldplay. Just play Triads all the way. And it just brought me back to learning the simplicity of music and really making it sound good from the roots instead of trying to add too much like flowers or whatever to it. Yeah.
Okay, that's very nice said. I mean, it gives you perspective. Now, before we go on to Darren's next question, we've got a message from Jay who says Eminem, Blink-182, and Jay Chow sounds like a Happy Meal combo. I think it's a really good combo.
You should try it out. The amount of diversity in that is, it's what made MKNK today, honestly.
Brilliant. Okay, Darren, you're going to ask questions just now.
So I wanted to say, with music, because sometimes, I mean, I agree with you about the whole simplicity thing. But one of the terms that I've learned, and I'm not sure if they actually taught this in ICOM, is to do what works for the song rather than to do what you feel the song needs.
Yes.
So what is your opinion on that? Because you're talking about like simplicity and instead of doing like 7th and 9 chords and stuff like that.
I think my philosophy in making music is I kind of believe that every song is already made, every song out there, right? And it's kind of like putting a puzzle together. So you just have to find the right pieces for that puzzle piece and kind of bring it out to life. But it becomes interesting when you start to take like different puzzle pieces and putting it into this whole different puzzle, right? And you come up with something completely new. So I do believe that you just have to really trust your instincts and trust your ears to know what the song is asking from you, if that makes sense. Because in today's world, like, a lot of the music is done on the computer, right? With one keyboard and one laptop, that's it. Or sometimes even directly on the laptop. So
Yeah.
you can basically add anything you want. It's not like 10 years ago or maybe 15 years ago where you have to book a
actually play.
studio. Yeah, you have to actually play it, right? Now you can get samples, you can get everything. So I would say just like follow your instinct, and sometimes you don't need to overdo it as well. I had this one lecturer. I'm not sure if you guys know or remember him, the late Frank Ong. He was from Alley Cats last time, the bassist for Alley Cats.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is another funny story, because we used to have this like ensemble class where there would be 10 people who needs to play in the band, and sometimes there are 3 keyboardists and 4 guitarists. So you have to figure out how to play together, right? And he kind of taught me like, yeah, he kind of taught me that you just have to really listen and fill in the gaps instead of trying to overcome everything. And basically for that whole class, I remember that for that one song, I just played one note, and that was it. And I scored the highest marks out of all my years in ICOM, because it's just really filling in the gap. Yeah.
I like the fact that you said,
so I guess,
listen to
you
what
are-
the song is asking from you. So yeah, that's where you inject yourself into the song, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, sorry,
Darren?
Darren, you see?
Yeah, cool. I mean, like, I think you are of that opinion that, just do what works for the song lah. Try not to overdo it and all that. Because for example, like right now, I'm working with a very young producer,
Okay.
and sometimes he overthinks stuff. And in the past year, in the first few months, he would overthink and redo, and then he'll have like 20 mixes and stuff like that. But then I'm like, if you feel it works, if it felt right at that moment that this worked, just go with it. So I have to keep telling him, just
Absolutely.
go with it. And every time he sends me stuff, I would just listen to it. I won't overanalyze. I would just analyze maybe like the vocal suddenly like chop off or whatever, stuff like that. Like that's very obvious ones. But if it's like, should I put in this other instrument somewhere? Should I add more stuff to it? So that has kind of like changed over the course of a year. And the next track that's coming out, is actually super stripped down, very simplified. No wobbly bass and all those stuff. It's just very basic. So it's a journey of kind of like discovering and making things that work for the song.
Yeah.
So
And I
that's
think
an important philosophy.
I think sometimes as well, it's that insecurity of releasing your work to the world, especially if it's your first view. Like, I remember for my first album, for Quarter Life, I was so scared of showing it to anyone because I worked on it for 5 years. And I never showed
Wow.
anyone the songs. Yeah, because I think like most of the songs that went into the album came in the last year. And every other song before that, I didn't even use. So I think there were over like close to 30 to 50 songs that were written. But it was always the thought that, this is not good enough. I don't want to show anyone this yet. Or I don't think it's good enough to release. And that's when I realized a song is kind of never really finished in some way. And that's the beauty of art, right? Because you don't want to go to the stage where, okay, this is it. This is the best I can do, and I can never top this anymore. But instead, I want to be able to release a new song and say like, okay, I didn't do this perfectly, but I'm going to try to figure out how I can do this better the next round. And it's always that first hurdle of showing people, just putting it out there and being able to accept the criticism. Because sometimes it's tough, right? For people to listen to something that really came from you, from a vulnerable stage. And I remember when I was showing the songs to my friends, I was like trembling because I was like, wow, I recorded this song when I was like crying in the booth, and I just felt so afraid for them to see that side of me. But I realized that once I opened up and overcame that, it didn't really have any effect on me. Yeah, so maybe that's what the producer is going through. Like after the first song he released, then he kind of gained a little bit more confidence, and that's how
Yeah,
it feels.
true. And I think like right
Consistent.
now, you know, when it comes to like putting music out, sometimes like the merit is not just like, you know, if people listen, they dig it, okay, tune, you know. It's also numbers and stuff like that, you know. So sometimes
Yeah.
you put out a song, wow, didn't get into playlist lah. You know,
Yeah.
then you'd be like, my song must be crap lah. That's why I didn't get into any playlist, you know.
Yeah.
So that is kind of like, you know, like all as advanced as music has become, you know, the way people are consuming music and the way artists are producing music, that's great, you know. But at the same time, right, all these things are still come and kachao you somehow or
Yeah.
other lah.
Numbers driven
your
lah.
song- Yeah, correct. So, but at the same time, you cannot deny that the numbers are kind of important too. You know, you
Yeah.
cannot say, screw it lah, don't want the numbers. Because man, I tell you, some of the bands that I have heard that sound really cool, they are not on social media, they are not on Spotify, you know. Some of them just say, aku upload lagu ni kat YouTube cukup lah. You know, but
Yeah.
the thing is, there's way more than that, you know. There's other ways of promoting yourself, you know. So I mean, but this is a whole different thing, right? You know, but numbers, you know, sometimes it can get to people as well lah.
Yeah, I totally agree, man. I think that's actually the story behind All Day as well, behind my latest single. Because we do live in the world today where it's just driven by that, right? And we kind of value ourselves by the amount of followers or the amount of streams that we get.
Yep.
Yes, and I remember during the first lockdown last year, I was like getting into this anxiety phase where I was seeing, how do I say this? It's like for the whole 2020, I was like, okay, this is gonna be my year. This is the big year. I already have like the songs planned out. I'm gonna drop a new song a month, and there was so many things planned out. And then when March hit, and then we found out that we were going on lockdown, I had to fly back home. And I remember when I was on my phone going through social media, I saw like so many people doing so well, and so many people capitalized on the fact that it's COVID and it's like
Yeah.
stay at home, and they made like perfect content for it, and they really grew their brand. And then I just looked at myself like, what am I doing with myself? Right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not growing, and I've been doing this for so long. Is my time gonna come? So it just kind of hit me like it was like what Darren said, like about the numbers. When I look back, I'm like, I released a video today, but it didn't get the amount of likes that I thought it would get. And I kind of defined myself by that. But I had to like kind of sit down and reflect on it and remind myself that it's not the numbers that I'm doing this for, right? Because we all went in to do music for the love of doing music, to be able to share our message. And yeah, that's how I came about with this song. And the funniest thing was that, I mean, maybe it's not funny, but I find it quite ironic, was that when I had another chat with another friend, she told me that she felt depressed. I mean, because she has been doing shows right before the pandemic, and then now she's not able to do anything. And she said that seeing how I do my social media, she was saying she felt like she wasn't doing enough. And I realized like, wow, this is actually a chain reaction. And
Yep.
the fact that I thought I wasn't doing enough, it's I guess everything is just in your head.
Yeah.
That's,
Okay, so that brings us to the topic of today, which is MKNK's latest single. It is called All Day. So that's basically the story behind it, isn't it? It was actually behind it, isn't it? It was actually what you were experiencing. There is massive feedback. There is massive feedback.
is that
Darren,
from-
is it from your end?
is that
Darren,
from-
is it from your end?
Sorry. I think it could be me.
all good. All good.
Okay, is there feedback now?
Yes. Okay, now
Still?
no. Yes, okay, now no. Yes,
Okay.
still got. Yeah.
Really? That's weird because everything's turned off.
Yeah, I can hear myself. I can hear myself.
That is weird.
Okay, hold on. All right. Can you hear me now? Is there still feedback?
I can hear you. I can hear you. And I can hear myself.
Huh.
Maybe there's like some sort of loop back.
Okay. What about now, Meg?
Let's try. Yeah, I can still hear it.
That's very, very odd because I have headphones on now. But let's switch back to
No headphones.
yeah. What about now?
Okay, let's try.
Still there.
Still there?
Yeah,
That's weird.
Yeah. I guess this is like most Zoom meetings.
It's either you can't hear someone or you have an echo.
This is happening today because usually there's none.
Could it be from my?
Okay.
Okay, never mind. What about now?
Hello? Yeah, now no.
Okay.
There's no feedback.
Yeah, it was
All right,
my
awesome.
settings.
All right.
Okay, so I completely forgot what we were talking about. Oh yeah, so we're talking about his song, and that's exactly what he went through at the beginning of the whole pandemic. And I think a lot of us went through it as well, not just yourself. And I think it's not just for the younger ones, but the older ones may have felt it too, especially when it comes to social media and producing content and being relevant. So, MKNK, did you come out of that phase? How long did it take you to get out of that phase?
I think honestly I'm still trying to get out of it today, but
Okay.
I do feel that it's a process.
Yeah.
And it's just constant reminding myself that how to say, just try to focus on why I'm doing this, and I think that's the most important thing. Yeah. So now I really try to train myself to not look at the numbers so much, and I even realized that sharing those things can cause more anxiety. So
Tell me about it, right?
I'm trying to lessen that now and not talk about, I have like 10,000 plays on Spotify and everything and all these things. So yeah, it's just maybe just having awareness of it. That's the first step.
Okay, so when you wrote this song, right, what was it that you wanted to tell people? We know that you experienced it yourself, and that's how you got inspired to write the song. But with the song now in hand, and when people hear it, what's the message you hope they take back from you?
That it's okay to be vulnerable. I think most people think that if you are not in the right state of mind, that maybe to put it in a better way, maybe just to know that everyone is going through some sort of issue or problems themselves.
Absolutely.
And when you see, try to always compare ourselves, right? Like, for girls, it's like, I mean, this is, I don't want to be stereotypical, but I mean, this is just what I analyze.
Okay.
Sometimes, because what I realize is most women follow women as well, and you don't really see men following more men, right? And a lot of times what I realize is that when they see someone, they're like, wow, I want to be as beautiful or as smart or as charming as that person. So for me, my like that woman thingy is like seeing other music producers and seeing like, wow, they're doing so well with their content, and I wish that I can like do that, or seeing them live their lives. But everyone has their own issues that they're going through. So yeah, just be true to yourself, man. I mean, that's such a cheesy thing to say, but it actually has a lot of truth to it.
So what would you say is like the biggest hurdle in creating content in today's day and age?
I think being relevant is one thing, but also I would say actually the biggest challenge is what comes after.
Yep.
To not let it get into your head that when you create something and it doesn't hit, right?
Yeah.
I'm working with an artist now as well, and he just says that I feel so demotivated putting out content because I feel like I'm not getting the amount of likes that I'm looking for, and I've been posting a video up every week, but it's not getting me where I want to be.
Yeah.
But we had to kind of remind him that it's a process. And I'm not sure if you guys remember Brandon Lim from MFMF.
Yeah.
I mean, he's his own person, not just with MFMF. I seek out to him and ask for advice on how to do better content. And he said, bro, honestly, we are still trying to figure it out. And it's a trial and error. It's a hit and miss. You just have to keep doing it until you find like the right recipe and what hits with your audience, right? So that's basically it.
But that's true, man. I mean, like if you're talking about content, content's being churned out every single day, and everybody's like consuming all different kinds of content, So if you're producing music, you are just one in maybe like 1,000 artists that an individual would listen to on a daily basis, So you have to be consistent, So the truth is, consistency is key. And you'll never know, what works and what wouldn't, until you keep seeing a consistent pattern. Then you realize, okay, this works,
Yeah,
For
exactly.
example, and like I said earlier, with numbers and things like that, people can be demotivated easily, but at the same time, if the numbers are not doing well, it's not the results that they want to achieve, they're like, it's not what I want, so I'm demotivated. But if the numbers are hitting right, if you're constantly getting good plays, that also doesn't mean that it's gonna guarantee you a good career. For
Absolutely.
example, I put up like a Facebook message like a couple of weeks back saying that, sure, you can have all the streams, but if you can't even perform live, what's the point?
Yep.
So the thing is, there are some people who go like, oh, okay lah, I just make music from my home and just release lah, and I don't need to perform ever. Now, music is to be enjoyed through your ears, being wherever you are, whether you're jogging or whatever, but it's also to be enjoyed live. If you are gonna call yourself an artist and you cannot perform live, then might as well just call yourself a studio artist, and just be that.
And I think
don't
that's
make
the trend.
appearances and stuff.
That's the trend with younger artists these days,
Exactly, bro.
They are so, and I know so many people that are so talented, they can really sing, but they just can't perform live at all for some reason. Maybe it's just getting the hurdle of like stage fright and everything, because sometimes they freeze up, right? But I guess these are like the growing pains that you have to go through. You cannot say like, no, this is like a part of it that I do not want to do, but it's actually the most important part, right?
Exactly. For example, I know an artist, and he is a good songwriter, good producer, good singer, but even he chokes even on an interview like this, So why be an artist, if you cannot even perform live and sing live, I did a studio performance with him, teruk, bro, so there's stuff like that, so my message was, now is the best time to equip yourself with skills and knowledge, learn up every single thing that you can, because we're not gonna ever perform live, anytime soon, right? So probably next year. So now is the best time. So my comment that I made was, just because you have all the streams doesn't guarantee that you can pull a crowd when you play a live show. So this one friend who's signed to an European label and all that, and he's got like 16 million hits for each song minimum, and he's like, what makes you think that they don't have an audience? Now the thing is, my point that I was trying to make is that if you cannot perform live, nobody will want to come and see you. Period. You can have great songs, but if you suck live, cannot. So I think it's super important, especially if there are artists right now who are listening in and watching this stream, like, you gotta be on top of your game, every single aspect of your career, you know, like if it's making music, creating content, or if it's, you know, speaking in an interview or performing live, you know, everything has to be spot on, you know. So that's really what it is. And you're right, these are hurdles, you know, that artists would need to get through, get past. And you know, once they do, I believe, you know, then they will start seeing the numbers and the engagement and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I think to add to your point as well, like, don't be too bummed out if your first few shows are bad, or even if it's like, because even for seasoned artists, you will have a bad show. I remember I used to talk to my band, right? We had 10 good shows in a row. When are we gonna have the next bad show? And truly enough, the next show we played so bad. And yeah, I guess this is just something we have to accept lah, and just know that it's a growing process lah, and you will get better as it goes.
Yeah. But at the same time, one of the things that I really want to point out is, you know, like I've played to like 10,000, 50,000 people, you know, like for like the festival that I played in Taiwan, you know, they had like so many people. It was by the beach. I've played to a huge amount on giant stage production, TV, everything. But I've also played open mics to 2 people, you know, so like the gap is huge. But if you do all these shows, it keeps you humble, it keeps you sharp as well, you know, so that you know, okay, you know where you're at. Because if you can put on a killer show, you know, on a big stage, a small show, if you cannot put on a good show on a small stage, then what are you? You know, so that's all these like psyche stuff that I go through myself, so that I make sure that I'm always on top, whether it's a big or small show.
Yeah, I totally agree, man. And you know, another thing is sometimes we are all thinking like, I want to perform in that big stage, I want to be there. But it's actually a lot tougher to perform at a big stage than you would think, because there's like things like being used to being so far away from your bandmates. Like there was this one time we played this huge, in this huge stage. I think it was for one of the F1 shows. I couldn't see, like my drummer was so far away. I was trying to look to him for cues, and it was so difficult. And we, like, that was really tough enough, and we didn't have enough time to sound check. I think we only had like 30 minutes to sound check the whole band, including like drums, keys, and everything. So we were literally sound checking until the show started.
Oh wow!
The audience was in there already, so we were like, it was so nerve wracking. And yeah, at that moment I realized like, wow, it's actually so much more difficult to perform at a big stage, because you would think like, oh, okay, you can just like get the fans engaged and everything, right? But you also get like stage fright sometimes, especially if you're not ready for that moment. You might just like poop in your pants, and you know. So yeah, work your way up, man. Do those smaller shows, and they are the shows that really prepare you, especially when the audience is not engaging. I feel like that is the best challenge, because you need to learn like, okay, if they don't like my music, how do I get them to want to listen to me and what I'm saying and what I'm singing about?
That's true.
I always believe that if you actually perform to a more intimate setting, which is a smaller setting, you kind of build your fan base, and the loyalty sticks, you know. So these people who were at the smaller shows will remember you, and eventually, you know, they'll go to all your other shows as well. So you'll have that loyalty and support as you get along, or you grow further along in your career as well. So never you know, look at smaller shows as, oh, I'm not doing that great. But hey, that's you know, that's actually a stepping stone in a way. All right?
And I don't think there's any shows that are beneath you.
Absolutely.
Even like, unless it's a show that is doing something that you totally do not agree with, like maybe it's like for, I don't know what it is lah, but if it goes against your morals, then maybe it's the time to say no. But
definitely.
One thing is, for my band, or even for myself, I've gotten so many big opportunities from free shows. Like, like you would think that I'm just gonna do this free show, and then I don't, you know, it's not even paying me. Why do I need to perform at my best? But those are the shows I feel like you have to really be able to impress, because you never know, there might be someone in the crowd that could change your life and change your career. You never know.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Just be on the top of your game for everything.
That is so true. In 2010, I played a street, like, you know, a poorly organized youth festival, and the stage was in front of Sungai Wang. Okay,
Okay.
it was because of that show that got me consistent shows after that in the Philippines, because that
Wow.
friend was there on holiday. He was hanging out with some Malaysian friends, and he saw me, and then he's like, hey, cool stuff, blah blah blah, and that was it, right? The following year, he's like, here's the air ticket, come to Philippines this date, everything is
Wow.
taken care of, and then after that I built my friendships from there, and then every other year, once or twice I'll be in the Philippines, so that's kind of, yeah, you're right, the free shows, that's what it is, nowadays artists be like, oh, hey, free don't want lah, hey, I'm much better than that, hey, come on,
Yeah.
man,
Yeah,
like,
man.
don't give me that kind of nonsense, because
Yeah.
everybody has to start from ground up.
Yep.
Just
Yeah,
because you got
agree.
100,000 streams for that one track, 400,000 streams, 500,000 streams, you want to say
Yeah.
that, oh, you are all that? No way,
Yeah.
come on. So
You gotta be
that's-
humble, lah.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
So you see, the thing about like numbers and figures, it's a double-edged sword. It's good for some people, but it's also, it's not gonna help anybody because it strokes their ego, and then like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, I'm the big deal, man. Hey, come on, man. Hey, no, it's not
Sounds
always
like
that.
someone really offended you, man.
Oh, no. I mean, it's not. It's
You're
not.
just speaking in
but I'm just-
general, lah.
Yeah, it's true.
Okay.
So, because
No, but it
have
is
met,
true though. I mean,
I've met so many
regardless
people
of
like that.
yeah,
I
regardless of
agree.
whether
Yeah.
you're a musician or not, I think once you're in the entertainment business, the numbers
Yeah.
speak a lot. Sadly, so you
Yeah.
can be really good at your craft, but if your numbers don't say anything, then people are going like, maybe not. But so yeah, but I guess that's what everyone's going through right now in the age of social media and in
Yeah.
the age of digital streaming as well. So we're just gonna stay humble, and do what we
Yeah.
do best, lah. Okay, because if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. You'll find your way eventually. So yeah. So
Totally.
MKNK, this song, it's out. It is now, spreading your advice to everyone as well. So are you happy with this, and are you ready to top this one up? Because you said earlier, right?
Yeah.
There's no such thing as perfection. So you do this one, and then the next song you got to get better than this one.
Yeah.
So do you have all that in plan already?
Yeah, I'm gonna say another thing where I had this friend who told me, okay, I'm pretty sure you guys know who Folk is, right? Najwa's husband. And I remember there was this one party where I was just having a talk with him, and he was telling me, Najwa, before she enters the year, she already has the whole year planned out. Like, she knows this is when she's gonna drop this song, how she's gonna promote it, when it's the right time to drop it, and everything. And then that just
Wow.
changed my whole perception. I was like, wow, why didn't I ever think of that? So I started to do that. So I think now what I do is I try to collect assets. Assets being like my own music. I don't want
Yeah.
to make it sound like a business or anything, but you do really have to kind of
technically it is a
prepare.
business.
Yeah, you do have to prepare and kind of look ahead, right? Like when I'm about to release this song, I already have maybe 3 or 4 songs like that's kind of ready to release. Even when I'm working with artists now, I'm telling them, you don't want to just release this one song and don't have a follow-up, because if you already build a momentum, you have to kind of release something maybe within the next 3 to 6 months. If not, your name is just going to be gone.
Yeah.
That's how you can keep the longevity. I mean, Darren, I'm pretty sure you can attest to that. You've been in the industry for so long, right? And then you guys have been so consistent releasing music. So yeah, I would say that yes, I do have, to answer your question, I do have a few songs which I feel like it speaks more deeply about some of the same topics, and some like others, and some is just something for you to listen to have fun with.
Very
So,
nice.
yeah.
Okay, so now that you've mentioned that, right? Looking back at what you said earlier, I read somewhere that you said, your plan for 2020 was to release a single every month. Did you manage to achieve that? And is that the same for 2021 as well?
I managed to do it until June. After that, I was burned out. So
Okay.
yeah. But last year, I think I released about 7 or 8 songs. If I'm not
Okay.
mistaken. Yeah.
Okay.
So this year, I realized releasing a song is actually not so easy. You have to think about the whole marketing and everything. So
You don't say.
yeah,
It's a 3-month plan, boy.
yeah, it's a 3-month plan exactly. I thought like before this, it was like once I release my song, that's it. The audience like it, they like it. No, but there's the follow up. There's like so
Of
much
course.
like marketing plan. So yeah, this year I'm planning in a more quarterly approach lah. So my next song
Yeah.
I'm planning to drop on October, and it's
Okay.
going to be in conjunction with World Mental Health Week. Yeah, week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
So it's going to be another very deep song as well, isn't it?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
if you've noticed from how, MKNK has actually spoken, he is very deep with his answers. He actually puts in a lot of thought, and it's very interesting. So,
Thank you.
yeah, I like it.
Try to digest everything more properly.
Okay, so I think we've spoken at length about his song. I think it's about time for us to actually preview the track. It's called All Day, and let's take a listen right here on AF Radio.
Feeling all over, I'm not okay. Feeling kinda down, I lost my way. I've been trying to write, it has been easier. I've been trying to call, but it has been easier. Feeling all over, I'm not okay. Feeling kinda down, I lost my way. I've been trying to write, it has been easier. I've been trying to call, but it has been easier. I just been stuck in my cage, walking around in a maze. Tell me that I'm doing okay, tell me that it's all fake. Lately I'm feeling the struggle, hiding my tears from the rain. Lately I'm having some trouble, trying to stay on my lane. Get me on the record, I'll play for you. Feed me on the pavement, I'll lay for you. I just wanna be enough.
Very nice. Well done. Congratulations on the song.
Thank
I was going to
you.
say the next release should be in September, lah, considering the fact that this one's released in May, right? Then he went with
Yeah.
October. It's like, okay,
Who
lah.
knows?
Then he's like,
Yeah, maybe there might be a song in September. Who knows? Right?
who knows? Huh?
Yeah,
So you've
who
got a
knows?
collection ready to roll out, I'm assuming.
Yeah, there are a few songs that I'm waiting for the right time to release.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
True. I mean, I was gonna say that also, that timing is everything, kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, for some people they're like, yeah, okay lah, don't care lah, just release lah.
Yeah.
And I've seen the trend. For example, like this week, so many local songs came out.
Yeah.
But you don't want to compete at the end of
Yeah.
the month. You know what I mean? Because if everybody's gonna put out a track at the end of the month, you want to put out something new. Maybe week 1, week 2, or week 3, because everybody's
Yeah.
always aiming for that last week, right?
Exactly.
But then again, sometimes you can't really tell, so timing, and even for your music, everything that you've done, as MKNK has kind of like been in the works for like the longest time, and then only in
Yeah.
the last year, where all these songs, you just churned out and then you just put them out. Also
Yeah.
because of the timing in terms of the style of music. If you had put this kind of music out 15 years ago, I mean like 10 years ago, I don't think the reception would have been that cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because 10
Totally.
years ago, everybody was still into like band and real
Yeah.
like full-on rock stuff,
Rock.
Yeah.
R&B and hip-hop, not so much,
Yeah.
And
They were
then
coming
in the
in.
past, yeah, correct. So and then now, now that you've decided to put your music out, is actually the perfect time because everybody's into R&B and alternative R&B and lo-fi and all this kind of stuff right now. So it's actually the perfect timing. So it's you did it right, lah. So
Thanks, man.
this is
Absolutely.
very timely and
Yeah.
it's
There
good
was-
stuff, man.
There was this study as well about how the pandemic kind of shifted the way we listen to music. And
Yes.
apparently a lot of people, that's why lo-fi is so much more listened to now, because it's something that you can listen to over and over again.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was just trying to see if I could adapt that to my music.
Yeah.
I think what you're doing is really great. Don't doubt yourself. I mean, if you think,
Thank
you've
you.
done your best already, just trust your gut and go with it, because sometimes overthinking things will just cause even more trouble. So
Yeah.
so
Exactly.
you keep doing what you do best, and I'm sure the rest will just flow like water. So I think it's time for us to play our little game before we let you go this afternoon. It's called
Okay.
What's on Your Mind. So basically,
Okay.
it's the first thing that comes to your mind when we ask you a question. Let's hit
Okay.
question 1.
All right, let's do it.
All right, first question is, if you can do a particular thing all day, every day, what's that one thing?
Ooh. Okay, I think my answer would be cooking, because I love to cook actually and come up with new recipes. So if I can just cook one whole day, yeah, I'll be a happy man.
Wow, okay. Then you're doing the wrong thing, dude. You should be a chef.
Maybe, who knows? I started making my own like sambal sauce, so maybe maybe that there needs to be a shift in my career. Like
So that's
music while
something we
cooking.
we should think about. Okay,
Yeah.
question number 2. What's one thing that you spent the whole day doing that right now when you think about it, you feel like it was a total waste of a day?
Whoa. Okay, I have time to think about this, right?
2 seconds.
Okay, okay. While you think, I will tell you
Alright.
my answer for this.
Okay,
man?
yeah.
I downloaded this Mafia game. Okay, so you know these games are on your mobile phone, right? They are so misleading because the ad showed me that if it showed 2 buildings, and then this one mafia would fight this other mafia that has a bigger like number. Alright, so maybe I'm number 1, fight with number 2. Then if I win, then I get his power. You know, that kind of thing. So then I become 3. So it's kind of
Yeah.
like you get added, right? And then you keep fighting. So I thought, hey, that's kind of interesting, right? Then I went and downloaded the game. Then it was actually like a farming thing. You know, you have to build your basically.
Build the building.
Mafia, taking over like the city and the town and all that. So for 2 days, I was actually playing it. Wow, quite fun, until cannot sleep. So now think of it, what a waste of my time, because like it was fun in the beginning, and now I'm like, just turn it off lah, delete lah. And believe me, I've done that to so many games, and I don't usually play games.
Yeah.
Like the last
because
time
it's
I
like
played
an
real games
investment,
was like-
right?
Yeah, correct.
You want to make sure if you download a game, it's like worth your time.
Yeah,
Correct.
So then I play. Like, oh man, at night
Oh,
already.
man.
Did I forget
yeah.
to cook dinner?
Yes.
So what's your answer?
I think it might be like similar to games as well in some ways, because I don't really play a lot of games, and like my friend passed me a PS4. He just say like, hey man, I'm not using this, I'm just gonna keep it in your studio. I'm like, okay, sure. And like before I know it, 4 hours has passed, and I'm like, oh man, I wish I had that 4 hours back. Yeah.
I wish I had a PS4 lah. I want to play some NBA and Need for Speed.
Yeah, man. Right?
But
Need for
yeah,
Speed.
then you realize that after playing for a while, you're like, this is pointless.
Yeah.
Let's just go do something more
Yeah.
productive.
Like,
I'm like,
I
I
could
got
have
first
used
place.
those 4 hours for something else.
Yeah. You feel like, oh, I accomplished something in this game, and then you go back to your life and you're like, hey, actually I didn't really do much today. Yeah.
The hard truth hurts, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. When reality sinks in, right, you just go like, oh man, what did I just
I'm
do?
very guilty of that as well, but my vice is social media. I find myself on it the whole day, and I'm like, hey, night already, time to sleep.
Yeah.
It's like the whole day is gone.
So dangerous. Yeah. I try to
Exactly.
put like a timer on my social media now. iPhone has this function where
Yeah.
like after an hour they will tell you, okay, your hour is up. Do you want to continue? So like, okay, just 15 more minutes and that's it.
Oh really? There's such a thing?
Yeah.
Wow.
There's such a thing.
That's like my son, right? We've put a limit on what he uses, so it's like you can only use your phone for 1.5 hours a day, and after that it locks. So
Oh.
I think we should
Wow.
do that to ourselves too.
Yeah, man. Let's try that.
All right.
Okay, question 3.
Moving on to the next question is, what is your recipe to creating good content?
Yeah, because just
Oh.
now you said, right, there is a recipe to creating good content. So what is your particular recipe?
I realize what really works for me is when I do something that allows the audience to get to know me better as a person, if that makes sense. Yeah.
agree.
So I try to gravitate more towards that and try to let people know, okay, I'm this kind of person. Although I like to be really private with my life, I don't really share a lot of things. But I'm just trying to think, okay, what is one or some of the things that I can share without it being too intrusive? So
Yeah. Very
I think that
interesting.
would be my recipe.
Okay. And the final question is 10 years from today, when we look back, right? What would you want MKNK to be remembered for?
Wow. Okay. I thought about 5 years. I never thought about 10 years.
5 years will come like that, lah, bro.
Yeah,
It's
I
like
know,
macam
exactly.
mata kau.
Now I'm like trying to look even further ahead. I don't know. I guess I would like to be remembered as someone who really tried to push the boundaries with music and try to just trying different things and merging them together to create new sounds. I think that's really what I try to aspire to, and that's why I also try to listen to a lot of different kinds of music. And right now I'm trying to experiment with having more like my sounds from my home, from the I'm not Kadazan, but from the Kadazan tribe. There's so many different grooves and so many unique instruments and the way they use it, to try to put that back into my music, trying to go back to the roots. So yeah.
Wow. So I am, with that answer alone, now I'm like, I'm going to be like following you to make sure you actually stick to your plan.
Okay, yes.
Because I
make
think,
sure I stay on path.
yeah, exactly. So you've already set your goal there, and I think it's a brilliant plan. So once you find your footing, I'm sure you do really, really well. So there you go. Our game's over. You've completed 4 questions, and you've actually told us quite a lot about yourself this afternoon, which is so brilliant. And for those of you who are, who have found yourself going through similar situations, when we're all so focused on not doing well enough because we compare ourselves, or we feel bad because we think, are we really good enough? Think again, because sometimes we just need to stick to simplicity and be true to ourselves. Yeah, so I guess you really, really did give us quite a lot of good advice. So that's another side business, huh?
Yeah, side business.
He will be a singing chef. Yeah, singing chef with a t-shirt business. Yeah. Not bad.
It tastes extra good because of all the saliva that's going into the food.
Okay. So before we let you go, anything else you'd like to tell our viewers and your fans who are tuned in this afternoon?
I think just with the whole topic that we discussed today, just don't be so hard on yourself, like what Max said. Most of the time you're doing better or doing much more than you think you are. So just try to keep that in your mind. And whenever you feel down, just look back at the things that you have done. Like what I like to do is whenever a big achievement happens, I try to take that and keep it in like my pockets, right? Nice. So I don't like get too big in my head, but when it's times when I'm feeling down, that's when I take it back out and try to remind myself like, well, I've accomplished this, I've done this, I'm actually doing a pretty decent job. So just keep on going, man.
I'm going to remember that advice for a very long time, because I find myself in that situation a lot as well. So thank you for that advice.
No worries.
Now, of course, where can our viewers go to check out the song?
You can go to Spotify and Apple Music. They're actually on all streaming platforms. You can also go to my website, www.mknkproductions.com. So you'll be able to find everything there. And my social media is MKNK Official on Instagram, mostly on Instagram. So all my updates are there. So if you follow me, you will know everything that's happening.
So do you have like a music video to accompany the song?
Yes, it's actually already released on YouTube. Yeah, so you can check it out too.
Very nice.
All right, brilliant. Darren, anything else you'd like to say?
No, man, I think it's perfect. It was a good conversation, just chatting with you and hearing how, you've made a move from, doing the things you used to do before, and your outlook on everything. And it's very beneficial for a lot of people who are listening in. So, yeah, thank you, man.
Appreciate that, man.
Absolutely.
Right.
So we will keep in touch with you for sure, and we'll be
Yeah.
looking out for more music. So in October, if he doesn't hit us up first, we will be knocking on your doors to find out if you released that song.
You'll
But
be
in
one
the
of the
mean-
first few people I'll contact. Don't worry.
in the meantime, you take care, stay safe, and
Thank you.
just
You
trust
too.
your guts because you're doing really great. Thank you so much, Clinton,
you.
for joining us this afternoon. You have a great
No
day now.
worries.
Yeah. Bye
All
bye.
right, you too. Bye bye. See you guys.
Alright, see you, man.
So there you go. He used to be from a band, made a transition to being a solo artist. Of course, I think being a producer himself, that was like, it was not as difficult as it would be if you didn't know how to do your own stuff and kind of thing.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. So it was kind of like a no-brainer lah. I mean, while he was with the band, he was already doing everything and
Absolutely,
and,
yeah.
And I mean, like, he's got the ability to do all of that, and it's just a style of music that's changed.
Correct.
That is pretty much it.
I love the
but-
fact that he kind of bore his soul. Is like, he told us exactly what went through, the transitioning, being a solo artist now, comparing to his life as part of a band, and then going through the whole pandemic and being in that mindset or mental state. I think a lot of us have gone through that and probably still are in that position, but not willing to speak about it. So if you are, find someone who you can talk to, or find a friend perhaps, or reach out for help. And it's okay to feel that way sometimes. Just speak to the right people.
Exactly. Alright, so I think we've come to the end of the show, but before we actually end it, we have our pop-up picks and a couple of tracks that we are gonna pick for you guys to check out. And all of these songs that we played from earlier on in the show and the weeks before, they are all available on Spotify on a playlist that I created called New Malaysian Releases. Okay, so y'all can check that out. Because there are some songs that we've not played here, but yeah, you can go and check it out. Alright, so let's play this one right now for you guys. Also another guy from KK, if I'm not wrong. I believe he is. I mean, I should know this. But yeah, so this is Rening Lau, his single that was just released recently called Was It Enough? Okay, so let's check it out.
Oh, this heaviness I feel.
Wow.
Woke up to this thing.
He's a big John Mayer
My
fan.
poison man knocked into place, but still I face the run this race. Is this how I'm supposed to feel? So lost without a certainty feel. I'm circling around the room, reaching for love that's in bloom. Oh no, yeah. And hold on to me, dear. The night is drawing near. For once, don't let this time go to waste. Tell me that was it enough to leave this struggle as it is? Oh, was it enough?
Very nice. That's a really, really cool track by
I
Rening Lau.
really love it. The music, his vocals, wow, so
Yeah.
good.
He's a killer guitarist as well. I did like a guitar collab thing, and he just went at it, and he was really, really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So let's check. There are a couple of other ones. Yuna actually has a new track out as well. It's on the playlist. It's with Pink Sweats. Okay. I am not sure who this artist is, but probably some big name in the US.
Pink
but,
Sweat's actually quite a big deal in the US, yeah.
yeah. So I guess it's a big deal kind of song. But yeah. So let's check this next one out. It's called It's called Uncooked Brownies by this artist. It's a collab thing, April 25th and Idle Man's. There's so little information, of these artists, like on their Spotify page, there's like nothing, it's like music you will like, stuff like that. Like, come on, put a little bit more effort into it, guys. But yes, let's check this track out.
I've been looking for a sign to calm me down. It's been missing for so long. I'm trying to find myself. Ooh, it gave me chills when it coursed through my head. Do I do this for you? Good brownies, they came through. My toxicity only let me further away from me. I don't want it taking hours just to fall asleep. A ticket home is just what I need for the night. Can't you see I'm done? Sorry, so you fake it. You're so caught up in your lies. I'm ashamed of you. Just maybe it's time to say goodbye. I've been looking for a sign.
Very cool track. It's definitely dancey, that's for sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very nice. I like it.
Yeah.
How many more? Can we do one more and then we'll wrap up the show for this afternoon?
Let's do one more and then let's wrap it up. Yeah, I just want to say this, that definitely check out the playlist. Okay, it's called New Malaysian Releases on Spotify. I have a track out too with Amanda Love. It's a cover of Mod Sun and Avril Lavigne's brand new single together called Flames. Okay, so check out my version. But I will not be playing that. I'll be playing this last one for you guys to check out because it's the weekend, and the weekend is a good time to chill out, and just take it easy. All right. So this is Say It by Christian Teixeira, a brand new one. Okay, so a little bit.
Which just dropped, isn't it?
Yeah, just dropped today. Sexy R&B for you guys.
Tell me what you want, babe, and I'll get it for you. Go ahead and tell me what you need, baby. Get down on my hands and my knees for you. Let me show you how to treat my queen. Just get comfortable in my sheets. We gon' catch a vibe like it's on repeat, baby, you and me. Girl, you know I'd do anything for you. Just say the word and I'll be on it. Just like a deity or worship. She gonna do it. Say it now, baby. You know I wanna hear it now.
Very, very cool. So,
Very, very Christian.
Yeah, very, very Christian. And that's definitely a style that he has perfected. So if you guys really like R&B, I mean, Christian Teixeira is definitely the artist to follow. There's a ton out here, but yeah, real R&B Christian Teixeira. Okay.
Can I just say that, Christian, you know what? Can you, in all R&B tracks, right? They tell you that, tell me what you want and I will get it for you. But really or not, actually what we want is like, can you do the laundry?
Can you go out and buy lunch?
Yeah.
Can you go and walk your dog?
Exactly, right? So yeah, Christian, I'm just inputting lah for the next song maybe. But having said that, hey guys, if you are an artist, whether you are there, you've made it already, or you're just starting out in your career, you can always get in touch with us and be featured on the show as well. All you gotta do is drop us an email to popupstagemy@gmail.com. Okay, then we'll get right back to you and schedule in an interview for you to be on the show as well. Okay, Okay, so if you think, hey, I'm shy lah, I cannot do interview, I just want my song to be previewed, also can. Just drop us a line and we'll do that for you, okay? Because we've got the bulletin board as well as pop-up picks where we play more tracks. Sometimes we include some regional tracks in as well, and sometimes we'll include a regional interview as well, okay? So that we just vary things once in a while, okay? So there you go. That's how you can get in touch with us. If you'd like to, give us a comment or even tell us how we can improve or a feedback, you can drop an email to the same email address as well. Okay. So I
Yep.
think today we previewed like over and all in all, what,
A
7
lot
tracks?
of songs.
Yeah. Huh? So that's a lot for you to go and check out over the weekend. Don't forget, Darren has that playlist on Spotify. You can actually go and listen to all of them so that you can pick and choose lah. Because we don't discriminate. We take in all genres, so we've got a very nice blend in there for you to take a listen to. Correct?
Yep, that's right. So yeah, I think that concludes today's pop-up stage. So take care. Next week we'll be back again, same time, same place, 12 p.m. right here live on AFO Radio's Facebook page. So if you guys can share, and tell people about this show, right?
We'd
here.
appreciate it. Definitely. Lorraine Lee, thank you so much for your message. And also to Jay Rizwan, thank you so much for always supporting us this week. We'll see you guys next week. Take care. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye. My hand cannot see.